let's talk CJI. I think we would be remiss if we didn't spend at least a little bit of time talking about it. I think Craig Jones is the hero we all needed but didn't deserve. I was passively a Craig Jones fan before, but ever since he started this, I've become more and more of a super fan. Love everything that he's doing. I think this is really cool. I'm really excited to watch it this weekend. By the time this airs, it will be over. But that being said, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts on it? CJI versus ADCC?
Yeah, when I first saw it come out, I just immediately thought that was the most genius marketing I've ever seen. And there was that initial debate over like, oh my gosh, he's putting it on the same weekend as ADCC. That's bad. Why does you have to do like predatory business practices and affect another event and all that kind of stuff? And to me, I was like, well, so I think the whole idea is that we see the current issues that are happening is like the athletes aren't getting, they're not getting paid a lot of money for like the biggest stage of grappling in the world. And the idea makes sense that if you want to like progress this sport and make it more widely known, you have to incentivize that. Right. And what's happening is like that doesn't just happen by itself. Like this competition, not ADCC competition, but the competition of business has to happen in order for that to happen. And what Craig did, I think, was genius and just like threw just some dynamite right into the ADCC weekend and said, well, we're going to host our own event and like, look, ADCC, just make a better event and pay more and you'll keep your athletes. Like there's nobody coming over and forcing ADCC at gunpoint to do what they're doing. This is how businesses work. There's competition and it thrives. And like, that's what I think it's smart. And like, it almost had to be on the same weekend for it to have the upheaval that it needed to have.
Yeah, and he came out. There was a post on Instagram where he was like, "Let me explain to you guys what a protest is." And he's like, "This is a protest. We have to do it on this weekend. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. There would be no incentive for, then you just have people trying to, compete in both tournaments and." The idea is that we wanted to give people one choice so that the powers that be, ADCC, would have to change the way that they're doing things. I'm not in there's an ADCC Discord. I've heard that it's not a lot of good in there. There's a lot of toxic shit, but let's talk about the fighter pay, because for those of you who maybe live under a rock or haven't heard of CJI. CJI's all tournament competitors are paid at least $1 more than the first place winner of ADCC.
Which means you get at CJI $10,001 just for showing up.
Correct. And I should point out that one of the gripes with ADCC is the pay gap between the men's division and the women's division. The men's division first place is $10,000. The women's division first place is $6,000.
In ADCC?
At ADCC, yep, correct. And then it just gets lower and lower from there, from second, third, and fourth place for both men and women. The super fight winner is $40,000. The super fight loser is $10,000. So, like Josh said, you could show up to CJI and automatically earn $1 more than you would if you won the whole thing at ADCC, which I think is brilliant. And then the division winners, both under 80 kilos and over 80 kilos, win $1 million, which is unprecedented. That's it's an absolute shock, actually, to hear that number for a jiu-jitsu tournament, which I think is really cool. I know he hasn't said who's behind it. There's speculation, and we've speculated before on this podcast who's behind it. We originally thought Zuck might be part of this. I don't know if you still think that.
I still think that.
Okay. I was talking to Sebastian the other day, and he was saying he thinks, and I am inclined to agree, that he thinks it's just some billionaire in the UAE who just hates the sheik that's behind ADCC.
Oh.
Right? And so the reason he said that, because Craig Jones went on Joe Rogan and he dumped $1 million in cash out on the table and was like, this is what's up for grabs. And it like blew Joe's mind. He's like, I've never seen $1 million in one place before. And he's like, how did you get this? Like, how did you get $1 million in cash? And he's like, well, my backer went to the bank and said, give me $1 million in cash or I'll find a bank that will. And so they found a way to come up with the money.
How is that a threat though?
Well, so we're getting into into finance. Banks don't actually have all of the money that you put into it.
Correct.
They have like an amount of cash that they have. This is all just made up. And then they're banking, so to speak, on not everybody trying to withdraw their money all at once. And when they do, that's when banks default and all that stuff. So, anyways, they're also like, banks earn money on like fees and all that stuff. And like, and then I'm sure that there's some level of investment involved that they make. And so threatening to take several $1 million, I would imagine whoever is backing this has several $1 million at this bank, not just $1 million, several $1 million. So threatening to take that away, like, would in essence like devalue the bank.
Oh, got it. Transfer the fake amount of money from one
institution to
another, so that got it.
Right.
Okay. I was like, what is he threatening here exactly?
Right. Yeah. Let's talk brackets.
Okay, I literally have no idea who's in the brackets. I know I've seen like Craig kept like collabing with each individual person on an Instagram post and.
Yeah. Well, let's talk under 80 first. So under 80 kilos, Andy Varela, Jason Nolf, Levi Jones-Leary, Tommy Langecker, Ian O'Flanagan. Ian or Owen? Ian, I think.
Is it Ian?
Irish.
Yeah.
Mateus Denise, Renato Canuto, Nicky Ryan, Joseph Chen, Andrew Tackett, Lucas Barbosa, Ty Ruotolo, Cade Ruotolo, Majid Hage. I don't know Majid. And then Kenta Iwamoto.
These are all huge names.
I know most of them. There are a few that I don't know.
I think there's like 2 in there that I don't know.
Yeah, but all of them are huge names.
Yeah.
Massive blow to ADCC because Ty and Cade were ADCC. Andrew Tackett was ADCC. Joseph Chen was ADCC.
Yeah.
Tommy Langecker, Flanagan, all ADCC and left for CJI. Just based on the names, we haven't even talked about what the matchups are. Who you got?
So who do I want to win? That's a good question. I've always been a Joseph Chen fan, just because like he came up like pirating instructionals and then just got really good, and he's like a kid basically.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool to see Joseph Chen win because of all that stuff, because of his backstory.
Yeah.
He's also a B teamer. He's been training with Dima Muravani. Do you know Dima? Mm-mm. He's the German coach who's been making waves now. He was his coach back when he beat Tommy Langecker at European trials.
Okay.
And Dima is like running so it seems Will's on the inside too, by the way. He's been around Dima, but Dima's been running all the they got a really smart German brain and like put it in B team, and then all the B team guys are like, like, wow, the first smart guy we've seen come into the grappling gym.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like Dima and Joseph are the 2 smart nerdy guys probably who are. Just kidding. I'm sure the other guys are smart, maybe. No, but Dima's like, it appears that he's like trying to engineer practice in like a really smart way and bringing in some of this. I'm sure like, not that I haven't trained a B team except like twice or whatever. I'm sure they were,
doing okay.
I'm sure they were doing okay.
Josh trying not to make any enemies here.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for a Ruotolo final. They put Ty and Cade. watching them at Worlds 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was, they fought in the final, was an absolute fireworks show. I loved it, and I think this would be even bigger because it's no-gi. They put them on opposite sides of the bracket for obvious reasons. I think they're the 1 and 2 seeds. And I think that would be really cool to see because they don't give a shit that they are brothers. They give it everything they've got, and it's, if anything, they give more because it's their brother, and I think that's really cool.
Bro, they just split the money anyway. Like put it to the final. Dude, it's like, it's a no loss. Right? Just fucking fight it out and do an awesome show, and then just split, what is it, the million?
Yeah, $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
$1 million bucks.
Just split it.
I think there are some interesting names on here. Jason Nolf is one that's interesting.
Yeah, he was up here at Kuliana giving a seminar, Kuliana Jiu-Jitsu.
And I think bringing wrestlers into this was brilliant because now I think, and if you talk about over 80 bracket, Luke Rockhold, so I think Craig has done this on purpose to attract fans of adjacent sports. And so now you're going to have wrestlers who are watching this because guys like Jason Nolf are in it. You're going to have MMA people watching it because Luke Rockhold's in it. And then obviously you've got the jiu-jitsu piece locked down. So I think it's genius, and I think it's going to pose different problems that maybe jiu-jitsu people are not used to. It'll be interesting to watch that play out.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, is like attracting like wider audiences to a grappling event.
Yep.
And especially because like jiu-jitsu wrestling is never like jiu-jitsu players aren't really wrestlers. Like there's super high level wrestling coming from the top jiu-jitsu players historically, like in these competitions, right? Like that's still happening, of course. Like you can't forget about J-Rod, like hitting that duck under in the finals at trials and right to the rear naked choke, and then of course like Nicky Rod, like he just runs over people. But there's all these like there's always been wrestling, but then actually like throwing in some pure sort of high level wrestling, and then getting the MMA guys in there. And the other thing that they were doing about I don't know exactly how the scoring system is going to work, but last I heard Craig talking about it was like more this idea of how the MMA type scoring system works.
Yes,
which will also make it easier for other people
to
understand, because it translates. It's not like this whole new thing. Like,
exactly.
Even me as a grappler, like if I try to go watch like Greco-Roman wrestling, like I still have to parse like what all the rules are and everything. But if you make the fighters, the grapplers in the rule set, and then he's got they're doing the little slanted wall cage. Like the whole thing is like,
it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool, very cool. If there's anybody, so I know you're rooting for Joseph Chen. Is there anybody on that list that you feel could be like, or do you think Joseph Chen is dark horse?
Like a sleeper agent?
Yeah.
Let me see if there's a sleeper agent.
Somebody who could like totally disrupt the whole thing. I feel bad for whoever has to go against Andy Varela in the first round.
Yeah, Andy Varela.
He's a tough go, man.
Yeah, he slaps everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. A sleeper agent. You know who would be a cool sleeper agent? Actually, I have two things on this. So Kenta Iwamoto, he's over at B Team.
Okay.
Right. He might be a sleeper agent. And then, who do I want to see disrupted though? I think it would be cool if Tommy Langacker got revenge on Joseph Chen. Like if there's a revenge story there, since Joseph beat Tommy in the European trials.
So Andy Varela has Joseph Chen first.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's
poor Joseph.
Dude, Andy just
handle it,
be
but
like, yeah.
That's gonna be so tough.
Yeah. Funny story. There was this who I think he is still a kid, Jet Thompson. Do you know that name? He, I had a match with him in a Jiu-Jitsu World League like last year or 2 years ago or something.
Shit.
And he was a purple belt all the time. It was the intermediate bracket. And fast forward to like a few months ago, maybe he had a match with Andy Varela.
Oh shit!
On I forget what the name of that championship is. It was like one with a bunch of prize money and stuff. But and he just fucking smacks the shit out of it. There's like memes about it on.
Oh shit.
And then there's this other, when I was training up at Standard Jiu-Jitsu with Greg Souders, there's blanking on his name right now because we're on camera, but another kid who I met at Greg's gym who also got slapped by Andy.
Oh,
like
fuck.
Andy's just out there just slapping people, and
Shit.
he takes, I think because he takes aggressive pushes to the chest with the feet very personally.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, all right, you're gonna kick me, I'm gonna fucking
slap
punch
you.
you. So that'll be that. Yeah, Andy Varela is kind of I think he's the super villain of the under 80 kilo bracket.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, let's move on to over 80 kilos. So over 80, Adam Bradley, Nicky Rod, Max Jimenez, Owen Livesey,
Yeah.
Victor Hugo, Felipe Andrew. Mason is out.
Yeah.
We suspect an injury, a back
Yeah,
injury.
he actually did
he
say back injury. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He posted later to clarify.
Luke Rockhold, William Tackett, Joao Rocha, Roberto Jimenez, Pat Downey, Inacio Santos, Pedro Alex, Kyle Bame,
Yeah.
yeah, Muhammad Ali, and Daniel Gregg Kirkfliet. I don't know who that is.
This is funny. I know a lot more of the under 80 kilo guys.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. Okay. Just based on that, anybody in particular? Who is taking Mason's spot?
I don't know.
Do we know?
That's a good question.
No. Let me see here. They have not put. Oh, actually, Lucas Kennard. Yeah, Lucas Kennard is who's taking his place. So just based on those names,
Let me see the list again.
after hearing them, who you got taking the whole thing?
Dude, that's a good question.
I know, it's tough.
They spelled Felipe Andrew's name wrong.
Yeah.
I know this because I was at every tournament with Felipe Andrew. He doesn't know who I am, but I was at every tournament. I met him once at a seminar, but I was at every tournament with him for the past 2 years. Dude.
The joke is that Felipe Andrew is Josh's father.
Yeah, because I just showed, hey, Felipe.
Dad.
Dad? Oh, man, this is so hard. Dude, I'm going to call Nicky Rod.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And then I think Owen Livesey's a sleeper agent. Livesey,
Okay.
I forget how he pronounces it, but I think he's a sleeper agent. He's really good at stand-up and takedowns.
Okay.
Like judo for jiu-jitsu and like this wrestling stuff. So Owen Livesey, sleeper agent for sure. But I'm just calling Nicky Rod.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be. That's wild, man. I want to say Felipe.
I want to say Felipe Andrew's gonna win it. I think he's gonna get at least to the semifinals.
Okay.
He might even win it.
Yeah.
But I've always seen him more as like a gi player.
Okay.
In a very certain way. I feel like this no-gi, like this type of situation is much more wrestly. It's like built for a different style maybe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're probably right. Cool. Real quick, let's talk super fights.
Okay.
I know we're looking to wrap up here. Fionn Davies, Mackenzie Dern, that's obviously
sick.
huge. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Love it. Initial thoughts. We've talked about this on past episodes with other competitors. I'm curious to know what you think about it.
I think Fionn's gonna take it. I think
Yeah.
for sure. Sorry, Mackenzie. That's all I have to say about that. I always really like watching Fionn compete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's a really cool story. And I don't think you can ever count Mackenzie Dern out. I think she's obviously got a chance.
She might be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
She might be. But I think the safe bet would be Fionn.
Yeah.
Just because of where she is in her career. She is the current ADCC champ.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really tough for Mackenzie to come out of MMA back to pure like no-gi jiu-jitsu and beat Fionn. And then the one that everybody, I cannot wait to see Gabby versus Craig.
That's absurd, dude.
I'm gonna
The
lose
marketing.
my fucking mind.
Yeah. That's just absurd.
Dude.
And the marketing is genius. They got Hanato Laranja.
So funny,
Oh my
dude.
God.
That
dude.
interview, if you guys haven't watched the interview, go on YouTube, find the interview between Gabby and Craig. It is priceless.
Absurd.
Absolutely brilliant. Craig got Gabby's name tattooed on his ass. Gabby is obviously not terribly amused by Craig's antics. Craig has been, the bet now is he got her to agree on camera to if he wins via leg lock, they have to do an OnlyFans collaboration, and if she wins, she gets the $1 million to donate to whatever cause she wants.
Yeah.
Originally, she was like, "I want the $1 million," and he was like, "You're gonna take $1 million from sick kids?" And she was like, "Well, for charity, for charity."
Yeah.
So, but that being said, given the size discrepancy and I guess the experience, who do you got and how?
Craig's gonna win for sure. He's gonna flying triangle her off of the wall.
Okay.
Like he did at Karate Combat.
To throw a wrinkle into that, he bet on himself to win.
He bet on himself to win Bailey. Yeah.
And I think he really wants the OnlyFans collab.
Yeah, the first thing I was actually gonna say is heel hook. So I think he's gonna beat Gabby Garcia by a.
Okay. Over under 5 minutes.
I think he's going to try to string it out. So over 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm calling over 5 minutes, win by heel hook.
If he finds himself in a position to sink a choke, do you think he gives it up in order to get to the?
Yeah, I think he'll give up any submission that he might have in order to find a leg lock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think in Craig's mind, it's a win-win for him.
Yeah.
He either gets Gabby on OnlyFans, or or she donates $1 million to a charity or whatever. And I don't think Craig is above, I think his brand of humor is so self-deprecating that he is not above trying some crazy shit and getting caught and being like, whatever. She's a good 1.5 foot taller than him.
Yeah.
She is so much bigger than he is.
Yeah.
And all the marketing around that, her picking him up and shaking him a la Homer and Bart Simpson is really funny. Okay. Anyways, for those of you watching this, CJI has already passed. I would love to know your comments on it. If you have, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No. If we got any of our predictions right, comment below.
Yeah.
Comment below what your predictions were. Comment retroactively if we got anything right. Yeah, let's see.
Okay, cool. All right, if you all enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and share it with somebody that you think would find this useful, or at least funny, or entertaining. In any case, thanks for the roll.
Thanks for the roll.